Hello YouTubers. Today's video covers SUMIF and SUMIFS formulas in Microsoft Excel. And before I start the video, please subscribe to my channel so I can keep bringing you content. So let's dive straight in. So for anyone working in Excel and using formulas, you may come across the SUMIF and the SUMIFS formula quite quickly. This workbook will give you two really good examples on SUMIF and SUMIFS, so let's dive straight in. First off, you're going to need some data in order to do these formulas. If you haven't got your own data, you can download quite simply from here, and in the comments in the description below, there's the link where you can quickly download this from Microsoft Learn. It's really, I'll just take you through it very quickly. New window, one moment. So you can just put this link in here and you can just download via this link, download the financial sample Excel workbook from Microsoft Learn. That's free. It's a free download that Microsoft provides. So I've already done this. I've already pressed it and just pasted this data sheet into a sheet here. So that's a good data source you can use, or you can do these formulas on your own data source if you so wish. But let's dive straight into the SUMIF. In its simplest term, the SUMIF formula, you tell Microsoft what you want to sum, and then you delineate by what variable. Okay. Now with the SUMIF, the actual order in the formula is first you specify by what you want to sum, by what variable you want to sum, and then you specify second what field you want to sum. So that's an important thing to think about, is the order within SUMIF and SUMIFS, because it's different, and I'll come on to that later. But for SUMIF, you're only summing by one variable, hence why it's called a SUMIF. SUMIFS, you're summing by multiple variables. Now that's the fundamental difference between SUMIF and SUMIFS. So the SUMIF is just by what single variable you want to sum by, and then what you want to sum. Okay. Now here's an example here. So in my FS download here, you can see I've got some sample sales data from Microsoft, and for this example, we've got a country field here, and then we've got gross sales. So what I'm going to do for the SUMIF is I'm going to sum gross sales by country. Okay, so that's a single dimension sum, where the country is the dimension I want to sum by, and then I want to sum gross sales. Okay, now in this table, I've put the country values. I just put a quick pivot on the data to get the country values, and they're here. Now let's move on to the formula. So for the formula, I'll start again from scratch. So to trigger the SUMIF function, you have to type equals SUMIF, okay, and then open brackets. That tells Microsoft you want to use the SUMIF function. Now what you have to do is first we have to specify by what variable, okay, and second we're going to specify which field we want to sum, okay, and I've already put the formula in here. Now one thing with SUMIF and SUMIFS is most frequently you'll have your data on a different worksheet, and you'll be actually coding formulas in another worksheet, whether you've got a dashboard or you've got some kind of summary analysis sheet. Your formulas will most often be in a separate sheet to your data source, and that's the same with this example. So the FS download is in a different sheet to our formulas. Now because of this, we're going to have to basically flip between sheets, and that's something where you'll need to practice yourself. I just recommend you practice yourself, because that can be a bit tricky, but once you get used to it, you'll get used to navigating and jumping between sheets to build these formulas out. So let's go back to the formula. So I've started out the formula equals SUMIF. Now I need to tell Excel by what variable I want to sum by. So I want to sum by country. So I need to go to my data source and say, I click on the sheet and then just select country. Okay. Now Microsoft Excel will auto populate the formula bar. You can see as soon as I clicked on my data sheet, it picked up the data sheet range. And then when I clicked column B, it clicked up the range. So it's Excel's actually writing the formula for us in this case as I point and click. Now I'm going to actually say what I want to sum by here. So I'm just going to put comma, and then I'm going to go back to my sheet and just say here. So what I've told Excel is I want to sum FS download. I want to sum by FS download where column B, where it's equal to this, where it's equal to my value here, my country value. Then I just want to tell Excel what I want to sum. So again, put a comma and then go back to the sheet and then just select gross sales. Okay. Now that's it. That's it. I can just press enter and then you'll see Excel's filled out the formula and I can just drag it and it drags across all columns. So that is that's quite a simple sum if it's just based on one dimension, which is country. Okay. Now quickly, I just want to take you through named ranges. Okay. Now, as you can see with this formula, we had to do some clicking and maneuvering between sheets. Okay. Which can be tricky. Now, quite an easy way to manage your data is to use named ranges. So a named range is when you can name a column within your data and then you can refer to that named range in formulas. So if I click in this sheet, I can just actually name this column country in this cell here in the top left. So I've actually named column B country, and then I'll do the same for gross sales and I'll just call it gross. Okay. Now I can actually then refer to these in the formulas. So let's quickly knock that up. So again, equals sum if, okay, right, and then I'll say country. Now that'll refer to my name range, equals this, yeah, and then I can type gross, okay, and again I'll get the same result. Now both formulas, both examples here are doing the same thing, okay. I'm just going to call this named ranges. Okay, both formulas are doing the same thing, but in the first formula I use point and click to navigate, and I had to jump between sheets and actually manually select the ranges. Okay, but in this formula I prepared my data file by creating name ranges, and then I just referred to those named ranges within the formula. So named ranges is something that's very powerful in Excel, and when you start coding formulas, I'd recommend you actually start using name ranges, because within any of the Microsoft Excel formulas you can refer to named ranges, and you can see how simple it was here. I didn't have to click between sheets and jump around between sheets. I just merely use the name ranges in my formula. So that's something I wanted to touch on here, but both are doing the same thing, and I'd like you to practice with both. I'd first off do a SUMIF with point and clicking and selecting ranges, and then secondly create some named ranges and refer to them in your formula. So I'd really recommend practicing both. Now that's the SUMIF. Remember, SUMIFs is relatively simple compared to a SUMIFs, right? Because a SUMIF, you're just summing by a single variable. Now, the next thing I want to come on to is SUMIFs. Okay, now SUMIFs are more complex because you're actually summing a column but by multiple variables. Okay, now it doesn't have to be two, it can be three, it can be four, it can be five, although the more variables you sum by, the more kind of complex and the larger the formula is going to get. In this example, we're going to sum gross sales by two variables. Okay, now something I want to talk about before I start coding the formula is, you'll notice with the sum ifs, okay, you specify which field you want to sum first in the formula, and then you specify by what variables. Now that is a fundamental difference between a sum if and a sum if, because within the sum if, first we specified by what variable, then we specified what we wanted to sum. Now when you do sum ifs, the order changes. You specify what you want to sum, and then you specify by your variables. Now that's something again that will come with practice, but it is at first that can seem confusing if you're learning some if and some ifs, is that order change, but that's something you're going to have to um, get your head around and just practice. Okay, now let's come into a formula. So first off, you'll see here, okay, um, I've specified in this formula what I want to sum, which is column H, and then I've specified by my first variable country and my second variable product. Okay, now I'm just going to quickly tidy this up. Product. Okay, so let's get started. So to start the SUMIF, I'm just going to start from scratch again. I'm going to put equals SUMIFS. Okay, open bracket. Now that tells Excel I want to use the SUMIFS. Okay, now first I'm going to point and click. I'm going to select what I want to sum. So I click on the sheet and then I just select column H. So I'm telling Excel I want to sum column H, and you'll see here, because I've created a name range, Excel's actually just picked up that named range, okay, which is fine. Then I'm going to comma, then I'm going to specify by my first variable and then my second variable. So I'm going to say I want to sum if gross sales, where country, again, Excel's just picked up my name range automatically there. Country, and then I'm going to specify what my country should equal. So I need to click back on the sheet and say F21. Okay. Then I'm going to pick up product. Okay. Now, again, I'm going to click back on the sheet, point and click, and then I'm going to say, I'm going to click product. Now you'll see I'd never created a named range for product, so Excel's just auto picked up the actual range reference sheet and column reference. Now that's something Excel will do. If there's no named range, Excel will just take the absolute reference, whereas if there is a named range, Excel will just pick up the named range. But for point and click, it doesn't matter if there's a name range either way. You can just let Excel build out the formula. So again, I've picked up product there, and then I'm going to put comma. I'm going to say where product equals G21, then enter, and then I'm going to drag my formula. Okay. Now that's worked. That's worked really well. It's all populated, and again, that's an example of a sum if, and it's based on multiple criteria. So you can see I've said I want to sum gross sales where country equals and then where product equals. Now quickly, let's just add the product named range quickly here. Okay, and then let's go back, and then you'll see the formula's already coded, so it doesn't say product here, but it's interchangeable. So that's all worked. Now let's quickly do this using named ranges like we did here. Okay, just a quick example again. So if I use name ranges, I don't have to click between sheets. I can just say equals sum. Sorry, I'll start that again. Equals SUMIFs. Okay, gross. Okay, so I'm telling I want to sum gross sales. Where country equals here and product equals here. And again, I'm going to get the same result. So you can see the power of you actually using named ranges. So I'd like you to practice both. Code these formulas both with point and click, selecting the ranges, and then just typing using named ranges. Okay. Now that's worked really well. And just finally, I want to give you a different way of thinking about SUMIFs. So um, quite often you might want to present your data in kind of more like a grid matrix when you use SUMIFs. So you can see here, I've actually summed gross sales by country and product. Now, country and product are side by side in this table, and it's created quite a long table, but you can obviously change that view where you'll see in this table, okay, I've got country down the side and product across the top, so it's the same. I'm going to return the same results, but just um, in a different format. Now, one thing that's slightly off here is because I'm actually creating a matrix view. Yeah, I only need the country specified once there because it's actually country and then product is running across the top. So let me just give you this alternative. So equals SUMIFs, okay, gross. We'll start off, we'll use point and click first. So I'm going to say equals SUMIF, gross sales, right? Okay, sorry, I'm just going to start again. I'm just going to say equals SUMIFs, gross sales, okay, comma, then I'll pick country, then I need to click back on my SUMIF sheet, equals that, and then quickly product equals that, and you'll see that's worked. And then again, I can just grab and go. Now you'll see this isn't populating because I need to use absolute referencing here. So what I need to do is actually fix. I need to use fixed referencing using these dollar symbols to actually fix to column F here and column and row 20 across the top. Sorry. Now this is slightly more complicated, and I've actually stumbled upon a different part of Microsoft Excel formulas, which is fixed referencing using these dollar symbols. Now there's another video on my channel on fixed referencing, but quite often when you're using formulas, you need to actually fix to a column or a row. So you'll see in here, my SUMIFs formula needed to fix on column F to pick up country and row 20 to pick up product because of the grid view. Now, this is another powerful function in Excel, and it's something I'm going to cover in another video. So please go to my channel and look up Microsoft Excel fixed formula referencing, and that'll be another powerful function for you to learn in Excel. But this is really an alternative to this sheet. It's the same results, but just in a grid view, which I wanted to display. So that's three really good examples of SUMIF and SUMIFS. Again, nothing beats practicing yourself, so please either get your own data or download this data sample with the links in the description and just practice yourself and work through it step by step. And that's it. Again, thank you for tuning in. Have a good day. Please subscribe to my channel so I can keep bringing you these videos. Bye.